Quiet.
Just real quick, Bob. On here, you said you're working with the project implementation coordinator. I'm so cold I can't speak. With the, for that, is that the expansion that we're doing on the canal? Is that what that's?
No, that'll be the ramp that we're working on, that's gonna come from the canal and then go directly up in
To
back
Bridge.
of 7-Eleven.
Right,
And then they either wanna cross there or they wanna bring them down to the traffic light and then bring them back up and then back down another set of steps.
that's
Which
the,
will be all ADA compliant.
that's the one through that grant, right? The one that we're waiting for the
Correct.
grant to go?
Correct.
Did we hear about the grant? I knew it was like right there, we're gonna get it, but
My very first question to the individual we're dealing with, is it gonna cost us any money?
yes,
And I
I
was told
supposed
no.
to.
That
Yeah,
Tony Spagnoli, you mean, from
Correct.
PEC,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Environmental
St.
Council?
Tony, yeah, yep,
is it ready?
Giving us the verbal that it's
yeah,
all paid for.
correct.
Okay, so we got it then. So it's about implementing it.
As far as they're concerned, they got money to put the coordinator together in order to go out and draw up the specifications.
Oh, okay.
So,
No money out of our pocket right now.
It's not
as
supposed to at all.
far as I'm concerned, and I
Ever.
asked them point blank, that we do not have any money to do this.
Right.
As long as it's gonna be all funded through the grant,
Right.
then we're on board unless you find folks.
No, the grant's supposed to cover that.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
I
All right.
just wanted to
that's
make
fine.
sure that that's actually where we were.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah, we just didn't get any paperwork saying it was a definite, they got it, but since.
They don't have any yet.
Okay.
They wanted to get started with a manager coordinator, and
To get ready for.
Tony and the borough had to agree.
Okay.
Bob, one question. They've
Yes,
given up the idea of crossing the people in the middle of the street up there?
Our suggestion and PennDOT's suggestion is that they go down to the
Down
traffic
to the
signal.
traffic light, okay.
Correct.
And then they're gonna pick up.
And then they
on the
would
other
come
side
back up and go
behind
back down the
The
steps. Correct.
fireworks place,
They
okay.
can do that now, and they don't, so I don't.
So they're not gonna put in the motion detected lights?
Unless PennDOT changes their mind, they were not
Allowing them.
allowing us to put up any flashing lights or anything else.
Oh, PennDOT said they did not want that?
They do not want anybody crossing in the middle of a
Okay.
With the flash.
major highway when there's a traffic light a few hundred feet down the road.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? We can move on. Next is under finances, we have a motion to pay the bills. Before that, may I hear the bill list, please?
General fund, $111,521.26. Street lighting fund, $5,632.52. Library fund, $2,502.17. Recreation fund, $8,934.93. Sinking fund, $3,084.24. Street fund, $1,031.09. State highway fund, $2,254.34. Borough Morrisville Jones, $668.24. Capital Reserve Fund, $37,688. Totals for $173,316.79.
I've heard the bill list. May I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second. Questions or comments on the bill list?
Yeah, I have some, actually two. Page 5, GL 1509, in recreation, under Ameriblast, sandblasting for the park. It was for the overhang that was being done at $4,500. Originally, we were told that our borough workers were gonna do that, but I guess they weren't able to do that. My problem with this was when I looked at this into the budget, in the recreation fund, that 706 is the line item for contingency. And we only put in that budget for this year $390. So you can't possibly be taking $4,500 out of that line item. The 706 is contingency. I looked it up in our budget.
Yeah, we deposited the baseball money in there.
Oh, is that where that was going?
Yep.
Oh. Well, I'd asked where that was gonna go, so. Okay. second. Okay. Page 7, GL 1509, capital reserve for the stump grinder, our favorite subject. For me, the only thing I have to say about that, I mean, I know there's money in the capital reserve. It was not done by a cost analysis to my liking, where I got information that several tree companies could give an idea off-season what they could do that for us compared to buying something of almost $38,000. And then our guys actually doing that work as compared to getting it either, we've gone over this before, rented, or a company come in to do it, so I'm not good with that.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm not gonna vote on page 5, vendor 114, Ameriglass 05454, sandblasting with the park pool pavilion. I also thought that our borough workers were gonna work on that. They were gonna take care of it instead of bringing an outside person. This hasn't been discussed in front of the borough council, so I'm not voting on that, to pay that bill. And also on 09, the GL 1509, page 7, vendor 571, Cherry Valley Tractor Sales. Invoice number 29435, check number 1370, for the sum of $37,688. I don't know why we had to go and buy this. So now you could have rented this out for a day, a week, or a month, and we never discussed doing the analysis, what's most cost effective for this. I'm not voting for that.
Okay, thank you. And roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero,
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Sanford,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes, with the exclusion to the sandblasting for the $4,500, and for the stump grinder at $37,688.
Mr. Kerner,
Yes.
Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Next, we have motion 8B. It's a motion to acknowledge receipt of the minimum municipal obligation forms, known as the MMO, for both the police, uniform and non-uniform pension plans to be submitted to the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement System by October 9th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments on this motion? May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Cicero,
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Sanford,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Kerner,
Yes.
Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Next, we have 8C.
Gotta count it.
I'm sorry. Motion passed 7-0. I'm still shivering, sorry. 8C, it's a motion to approve payment in the amount of $95,000 to the Morrisville Fire Company as per 2015 Fire Fund budget.
So moved.
Second.
I think that was Fred, I'm not sure, is that right?
Yes.
Fred and Vic. Any questions or comments on this motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero,
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Sanford,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Kerner,
Yes.
Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have motion 8D. It's a motion to approve payment in the amount of $35,000 to the Morrisville Ambulance Squad as per the 2015 EMS funded budget. May I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero,
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Sanford,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Kerner,
Yes.
and Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Next is 8E, it's a motion to award the Emma Ryder demolition contract to Premium Excavating and Demolition for the bid of $270,000 and to enter into the contract with Premium Excavating and Demolition for the demolition of the Emma Ryder School. This award and contract is conditioned upon the borough's receipt of $250,000 in DCED grant funds for the demolition and final approval of $202,000 in Bucks County open space funds for acquisition.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
questions or comments on the motion? May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Sanford. Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Kerner.
Yes.
Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Motion carries 8-0.
7.
7-0. Thanks for the corrections.
Sorry.
That's why you're there. 8F, motion that Borough Council adopt the ordinance amending Chapter 360-36A of the Morrisville Borough Code to reflect that refuge containers shall be placed at the curb no earlier than 4 p.m. on the day prior to scheduled collection and no later than 6 a.m. on the day of the scheduled collection. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Clue me in. Who was it?
Cicero.
Brandon.
Was Vic? Okay.
Give it Ted, give it to Ted.
Okay. Questions or comments on this motion? May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Mr. Sanford.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Kerner.
Yes.
Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Mr. Seward, would you like to comment on this particular motion? And just so that the public knows how we're about to notify them?
One.
Why? Well, everybody listens to the meeting, and if we're going to, if it's an ordinance and we have to abide by the ordinance, that we have to figure out how much grace period we're going to give people, and, yeah. But I think you're right, Dave, they're not going to listen anyway. Because it's on record, it will be, and when they go for the minutes, they'll see it, and there are other ways that they're going to find out. I mean, you tell me, what do you want to do? I mean, what do you think's the best way for us to approach this, that's all.
Come up with a plan. Not now.
Now,
He does, he does.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna just have a regular nice form letter that we're gonna mail out to the property owner
Okay.
and just explain to them the highlights of the ordinance, asking them to comply with this with their property that's in town.
Thank you.
To everyone, we'll send it out with the next trash bill. Bobby?
We can, wait, we're gonna add it on the new trash bills,
That's right.
so it has the times and the dates, and then if we get, you know, any complaints or anything else, then we will mail everybody out a nice reminder letter.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is enforced in January with the new trash?
That leads me to believe that the grace period is going to be until the end of this year. We talked about 60 days, I don't know that we need 90. Okay. Next, we have 8G, which is a motion that Borough Council adopt the ordinance amending the Morrisville Borough Code to add new Chapter 208 entitled Massage Establishments to regulate such establishments within the borough.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments on this motion? I guess for the public's knowledge, this is something that we're hoping will be able to give us a better handle on. We may not be able to stop these establishments, but certainly we'll be able to get a handle on the stopping of them sooner than later. May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Cicero.
Oh, yes.
Ms. Chronicle.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Mr. Sanford.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Kerner.
Yes.
And Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Okay. Okay, now, under new business, motion carries 7-0.
Unfinished is first.
We have nothing under unfinished business right now. Under new business, we have 10A. It's a resolution stating Borough Council's objection to the proposed Elcon facility. I would like to, I propose that we change that to
Concerns.
concerns
James, what's your concerns?
Objection.
instead of objection.
You know, may I say something? Actually, I
Sure.
appreciate you saying that because several months ago when this came up, that was the one line that I publicly said I was uncomfortable with. The resolution itself is a very general statement that the council cares about the quality of life for its citizens. I think we could all agree on something here, that's one of them. It's concerned about air emissions and discharge of into the river, which we heard tonight there won't be any. It's a very general resolution that says we don't take the environment for granted. So to change it to opposition to concerns, I think it's really fitting to me personally because we haven't seen anything that said this project is going to hurt us. That, if we do, it's a different story. So to make that leap from you have a concern to an objection is a little bit of a stretch. And I gave everyone the letter that was just handed to me earlier from a resident who runs the food center at the Presbyterian Church. The letter basically, for the public's knowledge, just requests that council may even consider tabling it, this item, and it basically says that they understand that there's no discharge of wastewater, that the air emissions are 99.9 free of contaminants. It also says that it takes hazardous waste and creates non-hazardous salts, distilled water to be reused by the industry. And it basically said, what I echoed is, please don't rush prematurely. Obviously it's a council issue, but I think this resident raised a good point. I don't see anything wrong with being concerned with truck traffic at all, but to say you don't want something because you may have a truck,
Why didn't somebody read the resolution?
Well, I was hoping that whoever would make the motion would read the resolution, but I think it is innocuous. I also believe that it just talks about our concerns. So, just.
Why don't you read it?
Just to read it?
I'll
read it.
I have-
You're gonna read it.
So actually, the opposition word is still up in I'd like to change that as well if we could in the resolution. I want to mark this up. It's whereas on December 10, 2014, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection hosted a public meeting and hearing regarding a commercial hazardous waste treatment facility proposed by Elcon Recycling Services to be located in the Keystone Industrial Port Complex in Falls Township, Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And whereas the DEP states that this operation is a commercial hazardous waste treatment facility and it will treat liquid waste from the chemical and pharmaceutical industry. And whereas the DEP in their informational press release and at the December 10, 2014 meeting said that Elcon Recycling Services has offices in Princeton, New Jersey, and has submitted an application for a Phase 1 siting review, approval, or permit. And whereas Elcon was denied their initial application for Phase 1 siting review due to stormwater basin concerns, and they have since submitted a second application, which is currently under review. And whereas Morrisville Borough Council is concerned about the health and welfare of its citizens and how this facility may impact their quality of life, and whereas all details concerning the monitoring, inspections, safety, and continued precautions of this facility have not been made clear, and whereas the railroad's main line traverses through Morrisville and the concern of what, when, and how the hazardous materials will be transported has not been addressed, and further what truck traffic will be required for this facility to operate and what routes it will take are not yet revealed. And whereas the list of hazardous chemicals has not been revealed, and whether there will be fracking waste, radioactive waste, toxic chemicals, or other hazardous waste has not been revealed. Now therefore be it resolved, and hereby, now there be be it resolved and hereby resolved by the Borough Council of Morrisville, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, that Borough Council does hereby have concerns for not only air emissions, discharges to the Delaware River, and the impact of the quality of life for residents in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, but also about the potential impact on municipal potable drinking wells. So, I think all the whereases are good. I just think that we have to change the word opposition, but that's my suggestion.
Okay. I have no problem with that. I think it should be concerns.
Okay?
We have had a lot of residents contact all of us and want us to make a statement about it. I understand their concerns. I went to the Phase 1 meeting. The last time this came in, we had other meetings that were going on, so I wasn't able to go to those. I think Emma Ryder was going on at the time. So I didn't feel comfortable with voting on a resolution at the time, so I was one of the ones that asked for it not to be put on, because I can't vote for something that I have not attended to start looking into. When I went to this first Phase 1 meeting, for me, even the slightest chance of an accident happening on the roadway or on the railway, so close to our town, it's a highly condensed area of people, and that seems to be everybody's concern. No matter what, it's that close to our waterway. Even though they're not depositing it into the waterway, from what I'm understanding, unless I'm hearing it wrong on that first phase, where the wetlands are, they're able to build within 1 foot, or is that wrong? That's wrong?
Four things in that resolution that is actually in
In
Okay,
this resolution?
that resolution.
okay. So to address what the residents are worried about is, one is, like Ms. Berger said, that host situation, because we do have that going on with the trash company. And you cannot stop them. We've got state highways coming through our town. So what is to stop them from accidentally making a wrong turn and ending up on our streets? We're very close housing in here too. So all you need is that one time that truck turns over and something happens. And it's just a matter of when it might happen, is what people are asking. The thing that was mentioned, I don't think that's been addressed, maybe Elcon at some point is going to come up with it. I think I don't remember the gentleman's name from the DEP that was speaking that night, but it was asked about hazmat. What happens if something happens, whether it's rail or roadway? You would have to have some type of hazmat set up to handle that, because you couldn't possibly have your local volunteer firemen and ambulance squads to be out there handling something like that they're not prepared to take care of, that I know of, as a hazmat. And the gentleman that night said that they didn't know what they were doing with that yet, so I guess that part maybe hasn't been addressed. So some of the residents were sitting there, which were quite a few from Morrisville that night, were not happy with some of that. So, like I said, we all got contacted, and as far as the resolution, I mean, we can't stop what's going to happen in another town. We can only say what our concerns are about it. I intend to go to the other meetings to make sure I'm hearing what's going on, so I can be better informed about it. I hope everyone else does. If there's something that's not right in the resolution that there's absolute information about, I would consider if it had to be tabled to correct that. We're not trying to stop it. We're showing definite concern with the fact that we are not going to be able to control those trucks because we are in a host town. How that can be addressed, I've mentioned it. How do we get that taken care of? If it can be, it didn't work with the trash company, so it does leave us liable if that truck should come through here. How can we block a truck from ending up in this town? That's a big one for me.
Debbie?
Sorry, okay.
Go ahead.
No, there's another meeting on the 30th. There are, actually, based on what I heard at the meeting, the last meeting, there is some inconsistencies on it. And it's in the Phase 1 part right now, which is just basically the location and kind of what the DEP said based on the application and what the actual layout of the land is and what it was used for in the past. There's probably not going to be an objection from the DEP for the site. The next phase is where they get into basically the meat and potatoes of what they're going to do there, how their plans for accidents and stuff like that. There are some inconsistencies in what's in this, and I'd like to ask that it be tabled, to at least be corrected for whatever information we get in the next
If
meeting.
you're making a motion to table, then I think we could,
Table. Yeah,
make a motion to table,
for now.
okay? But that being said, when we finish this vote, I'd still like to find out what the inconsistencies are so that we can move
Yeah,
forward.
absolutely.
Plan on doing it next. Do I have a second for the table?
Second.
Did you say second?
I didn't have the mic on.
He did.
Okay. Okay.
The residents of Morrisville really want that stuff addressed, and I will be following it like a hawk. Okay.
May we have a roll call, please? This is to table.
Mr. Cicero,
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Sanford,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Kerner. Yes. Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Motion carries 7-0.
I have one question, I think, to the people who mind us involved. George, do you know, doesn't the county have a hazmat team?
Yes, sir. It's part of
The
the
county
murder-
does have a hazmat
It's
team.
part of the murder responsibility,
So we do have a hazmat team.
yes.
Well, I think that's one of the, I'm sorry, just to add to what Vic was saying, I think that's something that needs to be addressed to Elcon at their hearings as to whether or not they're going to establish their own internal hazmat. A lot of large industrial sites do have their own hazmat, their own fire departments, such as the Steel Mill had. So those are questions to ask them in the application.
Councilman, when you deal with a situation like that, they take care of the property internally, they will not respond out to the highway.
Outside, no, that's
No,
not.
that I understand, I mean, I'm talking about internally in their facility, yeah.
Externally though, Chief, if I could ask if it happened on the roadway, is our hazmat county team, is what you're saying, would come in to deal with that on the roadway? Or rail, I would imagine, I don't know. Okay.
Okay, under new business, then we still have, we have a number of new business. That's tabled, so we'll go with, to keep things, yes, but to keep things in order, I'm leaving that at 10A, even though I've given it. So 10B will be Williamson Park, regarding Williamson Park, I'll read that now. It's a motion to award the Williamson Park ADA bathroom renovations to Noble Roofing and Sheet Metal, Inc. for a base bid of $14,950, conditioned upon the borough's receipt of funds from the Bucks County Development of Housing and Community Development as outlined in the agreement for the project dated 3/13/15. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments on this motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero,
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Sanford,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Kerner. Yes. Ms. Sherlock.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Next, we'll have 10C. Excuse me. May I have a motion that the Borough Council approve the filing of the preliminary objections in the matter of Eric Hellman versus the Borough of Morrisville and authorize Insurance Council to take any other steps necessary in furtherance of the litigation. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments on the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cicero,
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Sanford,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Kerner. Yes. Ms. Sherlock.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Next, we have a 10D. It's a motion that the Borough Council authorize the execution of a settlement agreement in the matter of the Borough of Morrisville versus Metro Spa et al. In final form as agreed to by the Borough Solicitor.
So moved.
Second. Can I just make a quick comment on that? Just for the
If there are
borough's.
questions or comments, so go ahead.
Just, I think that the language, when you say settlement agreement,
for some people, they might think money. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows that this doesn't have anything to do with money. So we're not paying out any money for the settlement agreement. I guess stipulation would be a better way to put it. So I just wanted to.
Clarification. Anyone else?
I'll just say the council has seen in executive session the almost final draft of this agreement. Not that I'm drafting the whole thing, council hasn't seen it. It's with opposing council right now for their comments. So based on that, which I don't, after speaking with them or speaking with the chief who I spoke with them, I don't anticipate any major differences to what council has seen. That's why it's approval of my final minor revisions.
Okay. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Mr. Sanford.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Kerner.
Yes.
Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have 10E. This is a motion to authorize the solicitor to prepare and advertise an ordinance to amend the Morrisville Borough Code to eliminate the position of controller. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments on the motion? May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Abstain.
You have to have a reason for an abstention. It has to be written too, Mr. Parker.
Okay, then I'll vote no.
No?
No.
Mr. Sanford.
No.
Ms. Smith.
No.
Mr. Kerner.
Yes.
Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. What was the last one?
4-3.
Motion carries 4-3.
Got the band.
Right.
Still got the band.
This will be 10F. This is a motion to approve the payment of $400 to the band Sure Shots for the services rendered on September 20th at the 13th Annual Musical Festival.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments?
Were we short money in the event fund for this, or threw in an extra band, or how that?
It's actually, there is money in the fund.
Okay.
Okay, special.
So you just hired an extra band?
I'm sorry?
You hired an extra band? Like,
No,
you
we didn't hire an extra band. The one band is paid for by the Michael Shaw Foundation, and it's always been a joint effort. And this is the band, this was the other band, and there is money in the special events line to pay for this band. Okay.
But we're voting on it because it wasn't in the bill.
This one goes. Any other questions? May I have roll calls, please?
Mr. Cicero.
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle.
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Mr. Sanford.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Kerner.
Yes.
Ms. Sherlock.
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. We are just at announcements. I think Corinne had a couple. I will pass something out. I was going to announce it, but I'll just pass out the paperwork. It has to do with the canal visioning meetings. They're coming up again. There are a few more. There's one very local at the Washington Crossing Visitor Center. So those who didn't make it the first time, maybe they can make it this time. I'd like to say thank you to all those who came out to the Music Jazz Fest yesterday. It was, we had a great time, the bands were good, and it was a beautiful evening. Also, thank you to all those who are doing the teal ribbons around town, and to the soccer teams that are all wearing socks. So, thank you.
I just had a couple of quick announcements myself. For those who are not aware, Professor Edward Langle will be speaking at Summer Seat. He is the He's with the University of Virginia. He's in charge of the George Washington papers, and he'll be giving a lecture on at Summer Seat and the importance of Summer Seat to the beginning of our country. And so that is this Saturday, September 26th. I believe there's an open house at Summer Seat at 1. The lecture begins at 2. Another thing is the Morrisville Business Association is having a business card exchange and a general membership meeting. This is in October. It's October 20th. It'll be held at the First Baptist Church. It is a Tuesday. It starts at 6 o'clock, and our own police chief will actually be the speaker. For $20, you will get a home-cooked meal made by church members and served family style. So that is, again, that's October 20th, and that starts at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Anyone else have any other announcements?
It's not really an announcement, but it's, as some people may or may not know, the senior center has to leave the municipal building, the courthouse building, by the end of the year because of structural issues and the cost involved in it. The public was asked to reach out to the county commissioners, which I did. I actually wrote to all 3 commissioners. I've heard back from 2 of them. They both expressed that the county is still willing to fund the senior center, but not at the current location. The cost of repairs prohibits them allowing that to continue there. And then I asked again whether, being that it's such a short period of time in which they need to find another location, would they consider allowing them to stay on a temporary basis until they're able to secure another location. And the response from one of the commissions I had gotten back, I haven't heard back from the other one who's responded to me, was as long as they have another location basically to move into, to give them time to renovate it or whatever they need to do to move into that space.
And actually, just adding to that, I was told by one of the commissioners that they would certainly entertain it and actually provide busing if that's what it would take to keep our seniors from Morrisville going to another senior center in Bucks County. So,
If I could just piggyback on that as well, if anybody else had still not reached out to the commissioners, another concern that I have, being that this building is in the first ward, is that this will be another empty building in the first ward. This is a county-owned and run building, and they let it get to this state. So again, if you reach out to them, just let them know that it's not just a matter of pushing the seniors out of the building. Are they just going to lock up the building and walk away?
Actually, in my email to them, I addressed that I didn't receive a specific response to the.
No, I addressed that as well.
Okay, yeah, I
up
said
in the air.
something in my email, and they kind of skirted around that.
Right. Well, like I said, if anybody else thought to any resident wanted to reach out to them, just
Yes, absolutely. I
make
think
that
the
point as well.
more residents they hear from, the better.
right.
I just have something to ask Nancy. I was just thinking about it now. I thought there was going to be something on the agenda tonight about the full-time position. We were going to have some kind of, I guess, a statement made about it, or we have a say about it. Was that position fulfilled today? Or enacted today, I should say? That we didn't know about? Because at the agenda meeting, we said something was going to be said tonight, and there's nothing on there.
Only thing I can say is I regret the council had some difficulty with my decision to increase the hours of the part-time position due to compelling need for coverage in the office. But I will provide council with a funding source.
And as part of your ordinance, you're actually supposed to let us know about this stuff, and we don't get that, or we don't even get a memo anymore that it's being done, when it was advertised, it's not, anything, we don't get anything. We used to get a memo saying so-and-so, nothing, we get nothing, till we hear through the grapevine or something, so. So, it's not full-time, this position that you gave to whoever, I still don't even know who it is, so it's full-time is what you're saying?
Oh, I didn't fulfill the position yet.
But you will advise council when it's time.
I will.
Okay.
Any other announcements or? All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
That's Fred and Debbie.
Yeah, second, I'll second.
9:45.
Dave, don't take off.
Absolutely.
after